self-realization, and either of the three ways, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. There is no necessity of rigidly following the performances of prescribed yajnas for the transcendentalists who are above vice and virtue. But those who are engaged in sense gratification require purification by the above mentioned cycle of yajna performances. There are different kinds of activities. Those who are not Krishna conscious are certainly engaged in sensory consciousness. Therefore, they need to execute pious work. The yajna system is planned in such a way that sensory conscious persons may satisfy their desires without becoming entangled in the reaction of sense gratificatory work. The prosperity of the world depends not on our own effort, but on the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord, directly carried out by the demigods. Therefore, the yajnas are directly aimed at the particular demigods mentioned in the Vedas. Indirectly, it is the practice of Krishna consciousness, because when one masters the performance of yajnas, one is sure to become Krishna conscious. But if by performing yajnas, one does not become Krishna conscious, such principles are counted as only moral codes. One should not therefore limit his progress only to the point of moral codes, but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness. Text 17. Jas twatma ratya evashrad atma triptas chamanava atmanjaya cha santustas tasya karyam navidyate. Translation, but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self alone, fully satiated. For him, there is no duty. Purport. A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly cleansed, an effect of many, many thousands of yajnas performances. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position, becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions. Such a Krishna conscious person is no longer interested in material activities and no longer takes pleasure in material arrangements like wine, women, and similar infatuations. Text 18. Naivatasha kritinarto na kritene ha kaschana achasha sarvabhuteshu kaschit artha praprashraya. A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Purport. A self-realized man is no longer obliged to perform any prescribed duty, save and except activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not inactivity either, as will be explained in the following verses. A Krishna conscious man does not take shelter of any person, man, or demigod. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of his obligation. 19. Tashmad asakta satatam karyam karma samachara ashakto yacharan karma param apnoti purusha. Translation. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Report. The supreme is the personality of Godhead for the devotees and liberation for the impersonalists. A person, therefore, acting for Krishna or in Krishna consciousness, under proper guidance and without attachment to the results of work, is certainly making progress toward the supreme goal of life. Arjuna is told that he should fight in the battle of Kurukshetra for the interests of Krishna, because Krishna wanted him to fight. To be a good man or a non-violent man is a personal attachment, but to act on behalf of the Supreme is to act without attachment for the result. That is perfect action of the highest degree, recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Vedic rituals like prescribed sacrifices are performed for purification of impious activities that were performed in the field of sense gratification. But action in Krishna consciousness is transcendental to the reactions of good or evil work. A Krishna conscious person has no attachment for the result, but acts on behalf of Krishna alone. He engages in all kinds of activities, but is completely non-attached. 20. Karmanaiva hisamsiddhim astita janakadaya mukasangraham evapi samprashan kartum ahasi. Kings such as Janaka attain perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. Kings like Janaka were all self-realized souls. Consequently, they had no obligation to perform the prescribed duties in the Vedas. Nonetheless, they performed all prescribed activities just to set examples for the people in general. Janaka was the father of Sita and the father-in-law of Lord Sri Ram. Being a great devotee of the Lord, he was transcendently situated, but because he was the king of Mithila, a subdivision of Bihar province in India, he had to teach his subjects how to perform prescribed duties. Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the Lord's eternal friend, had no need to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, but they fought to teach people in general that violence is also necessary in a situation where good arguments fail. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, every effort was made to avoid the war, even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the other party was determined to fight. So for such a right cause, there's a necessity for fighting. Although one who is situated in Krishna consciousness may not have any interest in the world, he still works to teach the public how to live and how to act. Experienced persons in Krishna consciousness can act in such a way that others will follow. And this is explained in the following verse. That acharti sristas tata evataro jana sajat pramanam kurute okastvat anuvartate. Translation: whatever actions a great man performs, common men follow. Whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Purport. People in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called acharya, or the ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principles of Shastra, scripture, to teach the common man. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principles of revealed scriptures. The revealed scriptures, like the Manu Samhita and similar others, are considered the standard books to be followed by human society. Thus, the leaders teaching should be based on the principles of such standard shastras. One who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees, and that is the way of progress on the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father, and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and scriptural codes. Translation: Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva karmini. O son of Pritha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I need to obtain anything, yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Purport: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in the Vedic literatures as follows: Tam Ishvaranam Paramam Maheshwaram, Tam Devatanam Paramam Jadayavatam, Tam Patim Patinam Paramam Parasat, Vedama Devam Bhuvanesham Idyam Natasha Karyam Karanam Javidyate Natatsamas Chabhyadikas Chadrishyate Parasya Shakti Vividaya Visuyate Swabhaviki Ganabala Kriyame Kriyacha. The Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers, and he is the greatest of all the diverse planetary leaders. Everyone is under his control. All entities are delegated with particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. He is also worshipable by all demigods and is the supreme director of all directors. Therefore, he is transcendental to all kinds of material leaders and controllers and is worshipable by all. There is no one greater than him, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. He does not possess a bodily form like that of an ordinary living entity. There is no difference between his body and his soul. He is absolute. All his senses are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any other sense. Therefore, no one is greater than him or equal to him. His potencies are multifarious, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence. Svetashvatara Upanishad 6, 7, 8. Since everything is in full opulence in the personality of Godhead and is existing in full truth, there is no duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to perform. One who must receive the results of work has some designated duty. But one who has nothing to achieve within the three planetary systems certainly has no duty. And yet Lord Krishna is engaged on the battlefield of Kurukshetra as the leader of the Kshatriyas, because the Kshatriyas are duty bound to give protection to the distressed. Although he is above all the regulations of the revealed scriptures, he does not do anything that violates the revealed scriptures. Yadi yaham na kartavyam jatu karman yatandriya mama vartman nuvartante manusha parta savasha. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path, purport. In order to keep the balance of social tranquility for progress in spiritual life, there are traditional family usages meant for every civilized man. Although such rules and regulations are for the conditioned souls and not Lord Krishna, because he descended to establish the principles of religion, he followed the prescribed rules. Otherwise, common men would follow in his footsteps because he is the greatest authority. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Lord Krishna was performing all the religious duties at home and out of home as required of a householder. Um, so I'll stop here. Mother? Mother Sita?
Yes, Prabhu, you can listen. You can listen to me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you on my phone. What could I do to make this come up in sound, do you think?
What I would do is, can you log in through your phone? Zoom?
Oh, you want me to log in through my phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. So somehow Haryasha Prabhu is not able to hear us. So he is going to log in through his phone and then he will take up questions. In the meantime, if you want to type your questions in the chat, that'll be some use of time.
Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
Acharya Prabhu, are you okay to take questions while Haryasha Prabhu gets on?
You entered 108110.
That'd be fine. It looks like he's almost there. Let's give him another minute.
Re-enter your meeting ID.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, that would be fine. I think he's almost there if he's entering his meeting ID.
Oh, okay.
Just give him 1 minute more. And then we could do that.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
I think the minute is over, Prabhu. Let's do it.
Okay, we can take questions. Thoughts or comments?
Mother Renuka, you have a question? We can't hear you.
One thing we may want to do, it seems like maybe today we can just read straight through. If it doesn't seem like the sound's coming forward, we may just have to make a change and just read straight through.
I do have a question, if I may ask.
Yes.
So one of the verse, it said that we have to follow the prescribed duty. And then the following verse, it say that prescribed duties are not necessary as long as we are doing our Krishna conscious work. So I was a bit confused on those two verses combined.
Let's see, is Haryasha Prabhu back up? You're on mute. He's on. I don't know if Haryasha Prabhu's back. Okay.
Anyway, so which verse was it?
Sorry, Mataji, I didn't.
Can you hear me, Mother?
Here we go.
You're here.
We're good, Haryashra Prabhu.
So say the question again.
Sure, Prabhu. The question was, it said that when I was listening, it said that we need to follow the prescribed duty on one of the verses, and then the following verses with Janaka Prabhu, the king, say that he was just doing prescribed duty even though he does not have to. So it seems that it is trying to say that we don't have to follow prescribed duty as long as we are Krishna conscious.
Well, yes. Well, you can hear me.
Yes, Prabhu.
So the prescribed duty, I gotta cut this phone off. I'm sorry, it's too much for me. The prescribed duty is pretty much the karma kanda section, but you can get past that. Well, there's three aspects. You can do your karma kanda work and make gradual advancement. And as has been explained in the earlier verses, that is
We have a technology challenge today. I'm really sorry about that. It happens once in a while. So,
that work is to let you help make advancement. But the advancement that way is very slow. It's within the realm of the Vedic injunction. But so you have to do your duty, because by doing your duty, you're performing the right sacrifice and purifies your existence. My phone is driving me crazy. But if you perform Krishna conscious activity, or if you do your duty to Krishna, then you have no other duty to perform. But the main thing is that we should be examples and show that it's important to do your duty. Even if you have no need to perform a duty, then do your duty, be the example. As explained in the verse, Jet Jet Achartri Shreshtas, what great men do, common men follow. And whatever example they set by their own standard, all the world pursues. So I remember one of those purports, he was explaining, so basically we follow the example. And if the leader is showing the right example, then the general populace will be led in the right direction. So you have to lead. And he gave other examples like the teacher that were given there as well, that are natural leaders. So we have to perform our duty. Arjuna thought the opposite. He thought, well, he didn't want to do his duty because he would incur sin. But the other thing was that which is not true, but if you do your duty, then you become purified. Now, the explanation given earlier is to do your duty basically within the Vedic injunctions, but higher than that, higher than karma kanda is to do sarkarma yoga, and higher than that is to do nishkarma yoga, where you're doing it but you're attached to the results in sarkarma yoga. But nishkarma yoga, you're detached from the works. But better than that is you do it for Krishna with knowledge and understanding, and you do it for Krishna. And you should be that example always. Does that make it? Can you get that?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Mother, it just wasn't my day.
We can take one more question. Why don't we take one more question here?
But if I didn't answer his question properly, somebody can always call me after class.
Yes.
Mother Sita?
Yes, Prabhu, we are here, but I'm not sure if you can hear us. So it's going to be, Mother Renuka also, we can't hear her. She has a question. She has her hands up, but we can't.
Okay.
So today's a technology, challenge day. So it is okay, I believe. If Dhanashara Prabhu is okay, we can just end it and we can pick up Monday.
Sounds good. Sometimes it's right at 5:30. We thank you all for coming. Hare Krishna, Parikshit Prabhu, he's here
Hare Krishna.
from Harrisburg. Thank you for coming. We hope you enjoyed this Bhagavad Gita session. And just goes to show you, sometimes you get technological
No.
and things like that, but you keep going, and the message of Krishna always comes through. We also want to mention that tonight there's a Vaishnavi Sangha that starts at 7 o'clock on the same Zoom channel. So for all the women that are here tonight, please tune in and have some nice association with your fellow female devotees. And we'll see everybody back here on Monday at 5 o'clock. And we also encourage everybody to come to our Bhagavad Gita study presentation on Sunday. It's our Sunday feast class, and that begins at 5 o'clock as well. Everything is done on the same Zoom channel. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you soon. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.